Hi, my name is Emily Weekamp, and I teach 7th and 8th grade and seniors on the Lower Rural Indian Reservation in South Dakota. And my question is, I have heard great things about some states, and for lack of sounding, I don't know, superficial, I'll just say it. You hear how great the New Yorks are, the Californias, the Virginias, the big schools. Okay, being that I come from a school where we literally have 7 people compete, or 7 teams compete in our state, how do you feel as judges that my school, my state, would compare to some of the bigger states that have the larger competitions where there's actually a little bit more pressure to succeed when they're going up against dozens of schools and teams?
Well, it's a double-edged sword. You have a better chance of making the national finals than a team in California. And that's just as a matter of mathematics.
Yeah.
So there's an upside as well as a downside to that. I can tell you that when the top 10 schools are announced, I'm always hoping that there's a school that hasn't been there before. I'm always hoping. I'd like to see that any team can, come out of nowhere, and not that Indian Reservation is nowhere, but come out of a place where they haven't been on the map before in terms of the success in the competition, and they make it and they knock it off. It's also exciting when a school that tends to win every year doesn't make the top 3, doesn't make the top 10, and that's good too. So we don't judge differently depending on where you're from, and it's true a big school will have a larger number of a bigger state, but the school will have more teams to compete against, and that will sharpen them, and that's true. But they have a better chance of getting to Washington. So it's like everything else, it all cancels out, it seems. But we've talked about the negatives of the internet, but there are positives of the internet too. If you use it right, you have access to more resources than were available in the old days if you were teaching an Indian language. And that could be your secret weapon. I really do think, at least in theory, any school should be able to compete with any other school. And obviously, in the real world, it's harder. It's not exactly a totally even playing field, but how do I put this? This is something I want to say too. Over the years, the bottom has gotten better, and the middle has gotten better, but the top hasn't gotten better, really. There are not more schools that are really at the top level. The quality that's at the top level isn't higher. It is an achievable range. So just as we've gotten the lower to be higher and the middle to be higher, I think we can get the higher to be higher. And the teachers are the ones who will be able to do it.
Perhaps, if there are no more questions. Well, I'm sorry, one more in the back of the room?
One more.
I'll introduce myself. I'm Rob Robinson from Northrop High School in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We've discussed quite a bit about looking at questions from a different angle. What about when you have that student who is looking at this question, you don't quite know what angle they're coming from, but they love that angle and they do have evidence, but it's pretty tenuous to say the least. Do you sort of curb that student, or would you rather see other people in your group kind of say, this is what my colleague thinks, but here's kind of what I think? Do you see what I'm saying? I guess how far out there is too far out there for you guys?
I don't know, when you see it, but it's just, sorry, it's hard, it's got to be genuine. There shouldn't be disagreement just for the sake of disagreeing. On the other hand, sort of honest, there are so many of these questions, as I frequently say in my my critiques at the end, people have literally been arguing about for hundreds of years, and there's no right answer, but the sort of the manner of answering and sort of genuine disagreement, or a true intellectual disagreement, is great if it's not something that's choreographed, I think. And the only other thing, let me say, since this is the last question, to the extent that others, I'm sure I speak for the whole panel here, if you have other questions we haven't been able to get to, feel free to stop as you see us tonight or at some point. Perfectly happy to talk to you about either the things we've discussed this morning or things we weren't able to get to.
And at this time, I know that on behalf of all the teachers here, we'd love to thank you for your time and coming today. It's been valuable.